able to utilize it. You didn't have to be a coder to invest in Twitter. You just needed a little bit of capital and the vision that Twitter was going to be big. You didn't have to be Mark Zuckerberg to use Facebook to your advantage with the ads and the AdWords and to build yourself a little data business, analytic businesses. You didn't have to be at the very, very forefront. You just didn't. You don't now, you just need key skills. We can take the skills we know from the Internet of Value being built, from the peer-to-peer payment, with what we know of the Internet of Data, merging with the Internet of Things. This will be, upon full maturity, an Internet of everything. And the more you learn about it, learn how to take it into business. For instance, waitresses and waiters. Tipbot has been about a while now, over a year. How many people do you know are actually using it for tips outside of Twitter, face-to-face tips through a QR code? I don't know anyone who's actually doing that in a business yet. There's a gap in the market for a consultation business if anyone's got the idea for it. So if you've got the know-how to use and implement coil payments and the API into the merchant side of their devices, you've quite possibly got a consultant business in DLT, instructing future businesses how to stay ahead of the game in payments. One side of it, and it goes more, but first, we need adoption. It needs to be adopted, not just adopted, it needs the regulation. So we all came in initial adoption. There was no regulations. Half of us would have been using Coinbase, buying a bit of Bitcoin on Coinbase, sending it to Binance, and buying some XRP through there, and then you're like, oh, is it safe on Binance? Kurt, man, what was it like that day, mate? The first time I buys it, so he's already got it, he's got some XRP and that, he's pushed it, I'm thinking, I need some of this, I need to get on this, mate. So I'm like, get on there, Coinbase, send to Binance, boom. Kurt, money's gone, mate. Remember it, money's gone, lad. Where's my money gone? Seriously, I thought my money had gone. I was back to that Bitcoin thing, it's a scam. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Lo and behold, 12 hours, 24 hours later, something appeared. That's why it was never going to go, and it was never going to blow as much as it did. It was impressive where it got. If we're all being completely honest, I think it was quite impressive where it got early 2018, considering how hard it was to get in. There was no real Revolut, there was no Wirexes, there was no LBX from London, there was no easy on and off ramps. They're easy on and off ramps now. They're charging extortionate fees, but there's easy on and off ramps. All we need now is regulation, and the big players will start their platforms. Once the Eatspins banking app comes out at the end of the year, I fully expect the Wirex fees and everything else to start dropping. They are cornering the market at the moment, and it's why they're allowed to charge so much when you want to come back into fiat. Their off-ramp's just ridiculous. The off-ramp's not too bad, but when you want to start selling back into fiat, which no one should be doing anyway, unless you're a day trader, index, hats off mate, Torre, smashing it. A few years of smashing it, and well done to you. Just not me, that. I'd rather invest, boom, get it there, leave it there. There is no selling for me. Waiting for regulation, and then we wait for mass adoption. Platforms that sell houses for XRP, platforms that sell cars for XRP, platforms that trade diamonds for XRP, your jewellery, anything you want. Smart contracts, you want to collateralise 25% of your house. I was talking about this with Curishis today, so if you've got you could maybe have a car I want to buy, but I haven't really got the money, but I've got a house. So I can give you a little piece of my house as collateral for your car, and I'll pay you monthly $1,000 to say your car's 25 grand, we'll set up a monthly contract of $1,000 a month, and as the $1,000 a month's paid, the smart contract takes the percentage off each month. After 2 years, you pay for the car, house is back in my possession, everyone's happy. It's collateralising against your investment. It's the way it's going to go. And we just need to wait. We're just waiting for the brain box to make it really. The coders. It's who we're relying on. Once we get the mass adoption, it's adoption into Internet things then. That's when it really takes off. This is what I've been trying to say to people. For me, the email of the Internet of Value, the payments, It's just the adoption side. The maturity comes when your data, value and things all become encapsulated into a brand new internet of everything. I've said it before in videos, and it's hard to understand. I understand it, it's hard to grasp. Every device in your house, paying for the power as it uses it. You shower, knowing that it's paying to warm the water as it's pulling the water in, to pay for it to be clean, paying your water rates per second, at the same time as paying your power per second, while your oven's paying per second to heat your tea. Your lights are you're only paying for lighting when you've got lights on. It's coming. There was an advert during the World Cup, that feels like forever ago, and during the World Cup, it went over everyone's head. It was a smart house advert, where the guy literally just put his hand on the wall as he's walking out of his house, and it locks the house as he left. And then the fridge and the oven and everything starts moving. The fridge is like, how much have you spent? And he's like, oh, I've spent 30p since they've left. And then there's a little automated plant waterer that's watering, and it's chucking off the water as it uses the water. It's like, oh, I've used 2 litres of water to water the plant, just like he asked. You know what I mean? And then as they get back, everything goes away. That's going to happen. He exaggerated it in the advert, but it was right there in front of everyone during the World Cup. They're all brewing up, or all gone to the phone, and it doesn't really register because they're not in the position we're in. They don't understand that we've got to wait for the regulation, we've got to wait for the encapsulation of internet of data, value and things. We've seen what's happening with China with a supply chain on blockchain. I don't know how many of you are actually aware of it. But there's a lot of people talking about the payment system, whereas their supply chain, you can walk into a shop now, QR code a bottle of milk, and it shows you the complete logistic travel of that milk, where it's been, what van it was in, what temperature it was over its travelled, what farm it came from. You can click a video and see the state of the cows at that farm to make sure that they're being cared for to how you want cared for, should we say. Jamie Oliver is going to have a field day with it with a red tractor. Once you get cameras in them red tractor warehouses, I'll be surprised who's going to eat them. So you buy chicken from Tesco, and you decide to QR code it, and it takes you to the thing, and you see that the chicken came from a certain place, and you click on the video, and next thing, 40 chickens per cage. You're buying it. You're buying that chicken. Honestly, you're buying that. I'm not. Everything in the supermarket, boom, where'd that come from? Boom, where'd that come from? Who made that? Boom, boom, who brought it in? How long was it there? How long was that fish on the ship? Fresh fish. I don't live near no beach. I'm thinking, telling me there's fresh fish in Tesco, where's the beach? Honestly, it's frozen fresh. It's not fresh, it's frozen fresh. But how long has it been frozen fresh? Don't really know, whereas in the next couple of years it's going to be boom. Oh, that's how long, yeah, that's not too bad. And you'll buy it or you won't buy it. A brand new internet of everything. It's going to be absolutely unbelievable, and like I say, it's hard to get our heads around it. Let's go back to 2001. Try and get your head around Facebook coming in for 4 or 5 years. Try and get your head around the fact that there'll be a YouTube in 7 years. You're not being the code, it's hard. It's hard, and everyone's been sat there, oh, I missed out on that. Missed out on that, missed out on that, missed out on that, and then we miss out on Bitcoin. We've not missed out on this. Clearly haven't, and it's clearly going somewhere. When the SPQR lads come on later, I hope they've done a really, really deep dive, because I haven't. I'm just legitimately just over the internet value. Into the internet coil payments is the start of it all. From the smart houses, paying per second, your wages, your tax, your insurances, your subscriptions to Netflix, the new Disney app, Warner Brothers app, Amazon Prime, boom, 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 coil payments, sorted it. How long is it going to take for that maturity? How long is it going to take for us, the people, to force Netflix on the coil payments? To say, sorry Netflix, sorry, I'm not watching you now until you're on coil payments and I'm only paying per second while I'm watching. I'll pay you while I'm watching, but not paying while I'm at work. but I'm not watching you. You can have per second payments as and when I watch, like all the YouTubers now, and the influencers that have gone on Coil with the YouTube. If anyone's a contributor, thanks and well done, because you are pioneering that and you are the ones moving it forward that will in the end force Netflix and everyone to make a change, but they need a competitor. They need competitors. So cinnamon for YouTube. You can say to YouTube all you want, drop your ads, Coil's there. YouTube, Google YouTube like at the moment. You know about Coil's already on YouTube, Jay? Coil's on YouTube, you mean? Put YouTube on Coil. And it's like, no, remove your ads, mate. Remove your ads then. And let us have the whole money. It's not going to happen. Google's not going to let it happen. They'll always have some form of ad. You might want an ad. Because it might be going fishing in 2 weeks, onto a new thing. Like, this week, so you go on to Coil, you sign in, you're like, yo Coil, for the next 7 days I want ads about fishing. Give me some fishing tackle ads. Actually let them fall through, because I want to see them and I want to see if there's any 20% off and go somewhere. There's going to become some weeks where you might want ads. There's going to be some weeks where you won't want ads. Until the competitor comes, there's no enticement for YouTube to change, there's no incentive for Netflix to change, there's just no there. Cinnamon is the first one now emerging to tackle YouTube in my opinion. And I personally think it's going to be absolutely massive. So it will be paid through Coil contributors, and people who go on can watch, and when they're watching someone linked to, it's instantly linked to Coil because it's a cinnamon, it's Coil ads on the platform. There's also, you can do your blog posts, doesn't have to be video content, and you will be paid by contributors through Coil payments. Excuse me. Which is exactly what I mean by staying ahead of the game. People are about to lose jobs. So there's a lot of people who don't want the job, they just don't want to do what they do. They go into work every day because you feel like you've got it and you need a wage because you need to pay the bills. And you've got that little thing at the side of your head that you're passionate about and you think, I want to do that full time and it would be nice if I could get paid doing that. No one tries to do it. It's what Gary Vee says. It's the reason we came down this path. No one really tries to chase the passions online. I've got an idea, mate, and I want to share it with you because I'm never going to do it because I'm not really into football anymore. But someone who goes to the football and spends money to attend a football match and is extremely passionate about football matches, spending a hell of a lot of money on travelling to football, he could be making money just watching the football at home. Sets up a camera with 5 of his mates, watches the match live, doesn't show the game on his camera, just got him and his mates, and they're just having a chat and they're having banter, and they just stream it live. Then over the next week, they cut highlights, and they put the highlights out and it gets watched by people. I was telling my mate the other day about it, and he's like, well, I'm just going to watch telly, are there? And I'm like, why are you talking to me like Gogglebox doesn't exist, mate? So it's alright for the mainstream to do it, but we can. When you're going on holiday again, document it. It's only Love Island, isn't it? Seriously. So the kids of tomorrow are going to realise, hang on a minute, Channel 4's just got people getting paid for watching telly. It's just got people on holiday, just getting paid to do thingy. That's going to trickle down to a guy who loves steak. Saying, I've got a Coil thing, the steak man. I'm going to go to New York and test steaks and tell you which are the best steakhouses in New York. And if he's got the right attitude and personality, he's going to find 100,000 people that want to watch him and want to see what he thinks of the steakhouses in New York and Italy and France and Australia and where it takes him. He'll just be living there, enjoying his steaks, watching it online. This one's a bomb. I'm watching it for the rest of the day, look. And it's upvote, people watching Coil payments, things like that, it can take you into it, and that's just micro payments of people using the passion. You've got smart contracts are absolutely ridiculous. I don't think anyone in the room can honestly stand up and say they understand smart contracts, because if you can, you get no one really knows what's going to go on, but we do know that you're going to be able to instigate transactions with an immutable contract, a contract that can't be changed once agreed unless it's met with a new consensus. We've been talking about voting systems. What does a consensus mean for voting systems? How long is it going to take the next generation to realise that the government now just needs to be idea men? We don't need them anymore. How crazy is that? Now, to all you Bitcoin maxis out there who think you're going to get rid of banks, I've got news for you. You've got more chance of getting rid of the House of Commons than you have the Bank of England. That is the truth. You have got more chance of getting rid of the House of Commons than you have got of getting rid of the Bank of England. Know that. Because the Bank of England basically owns the House of Commons. Leave conspiracies to one side, carry on with smart contracts. But what does it mean for 51% when they become idea men? What if Article 59 was on an immutable smart contract set to be put through by a blockchain? What would have happened March 29th? Would have come out the EU like that? Because the consensus was met in a democratic vote, and the consensus algorithm would have just gone through with it. How long till the next generation realise that? And realise that, quite honestly, excuse me French, they're taking the fucking piss. And they have been for a long time. And we've got too many people walking around the world, it's just the way it is. If it was just the way it is, Trump wouldn't be in office, so it started. There is change. Nigel Farage, when he talks about the end of two-party politics, when you see Mark Carney talking about payments and that, and he's clearly talking about ILP and a new internet of value, but he doesn't mention it. Nigel Farage, I truly think, knows a little bit about DLT and that, because he talks about the end of two-party politics. He knows it's coming to an end, and he's trying to get Brexit Party in to do it again. We'll leave politics to the side. The all and end all of it, it comes to regulation and the smart things as well. The phone again. The digital ID is what we need. The government needs to know it's me. They need to know it's Scott Pratt. They need the KYC through 5G, knowing that I'm in this spot and I'm going to say I am, and bam, and yeah, I want to make my decision. So the government come out, we've got this idea, we either do that or we either do that, we vote on it. We either do this or we either do that, we vote on it. And the 51% is reached, and the consensus algorithm goes through with it. All contracts are immutable, and it's going, it's done. Done and dusted for me, that. For me, all it is a matter of time. I know a few people are scared of it. Oh, we've got all my data and all that, but we spoke outside about personal ledgers. People need to remember you're going to make your own personal ledger soon, and if you don't, you're going to trust someone else for making it. So you've either got to trust the Bank of England to hold your digital ID, to be interoperable with the system that holds your medical data, or to be interoperable with your credit, your criminal record, your credit record, the reputation score if that comes in. You will need to trust someone to make your personal ledger if you can't make it yourself. We've also spoke already outside with people about how easy that's going to be. So we'll go to websites and say to most people in this room, go and write an HMCL website. Go write your HTML, all that, go and do it. Write the code, put the website up. Most people will be like, oh wow, can't do that. Go and Wix and do it then, because it's only moving widgets about when your website builds. So if I ask you now to go and build a ledger on Ethereum, you don't really know. Some of you might search it and realise you've only got to copy 12 lines of code, throw about 500 quid in and you've got your own ledger and coin. If you want it private, go and do it on Hyperledger Fabric. If it's the supply chain in your business, go and build it on Hyperledger Sawtooth. Technology's there for you. They've already built it. The Hyperledger Foundation and the Linux Foundation have already built the tech for people to use to build their own personal ledgers. The W3C, who's in charge of Internet Protocol and Internet Regulations, has took the ILP and the crypto regulations on board. They're already in charge of it. It is a done deal. It is happening. And all people have to do is learn to take advantage of it. It will come through business and life. We're going to have smart payments, all working on themselves. The W3C says payments will get that smart and frictionless that it will be like we're not even paying in the future. There will be no payments. It will seem there's no payments. And again, I know a lot of people are a bit worried about chips in their hands and all that stuff, but it is what it is. Your kids are going to want them, and people are going to be signing contracts or shaking hands as the chips meet. or they're just going to tap phones together, boom, contract signed. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a world where we can't really envision it. Smart payments, there could be a multitude of different things. But in the W3C's eyes, the be-all and end-all of it is they see it as the removal of payments. It will feel like you're not making a payment. Does sending a text message feel like you wrote and sent a letter? Doesn't, does it? But you have. You have. It was just a short, long-line letter to someone else sent through the internet data. So that's what they mean when it's not really going to be a payment. It's still going to be payments, value's still going to move, information still moves through your text message, but you didn't see it as a letter. Smart businesses will then grow using the new technologies, what they already got from the internet of data, the internet of things they're building with the internet of value. They will have machines working for them everywhere and the humans facilitating machines at first. Any human in scientific jobs, you will still have your job for a while. Ain't no robot going to go in and rewire a mouse in the next 10 years, so if you're smart, you're alright. But it is coming, and it all leads to a smart future. It just does. It can be a scary future for some, it can be an unknown future for others, but it is a smart future, whether you like it or not. It's coming. And it's all about interoperability. That's what's made it possible. It's Ripple at the end of the day. So we can have any conversation we want about XRP. We can have any conversation we want about RippleNet. But the be-all and end-all of it, again, is they create the interoperability with the Interledger protocol, have handed it to the W3C. That is a done deal. It is the construction and the architecture of the Internet of Value. It's not that ILP will not want to choose another asset from XRP. If you can make one to do it in 3 seconds, feel free, go fill your boots, I'll have some of that. But no one can do it. It seems like they struggle to get it down to 4 seconds, because if it was that easy, I'd assume you'd have a Russian company doing one, and you'd have a Chinese company that had made a similar XRP. The fact that Jed Michaela couldn't even make it the same himself, and he worked with Arthur Britto and everyone else, and David Schwartz, and even he couldn't do it, match it. It's inflationary bullshit, it's just not the same coin. It's not that it won't have a competitor in the end. They're building a level playing field. You can't have a level playing field without healthy choice. At the moment, though, the only bridge is XRP. When we talk about a bridge, you have banks, blockchains, mobile money, online wallets, networks of value all over the planet, all disconnected. What's happened over the last decade? Thousands more networks, all again disconnected. So we're going to do a transaction with a Bitcoin maxer. What is Bitcoin? I mean, you know what that is. It's going to be worth a lot, but for argument's sake, say I don't want it. I want Ethereum to land me. And the guy's like, well, I've only got Bitcoin. I want Ethereum, me. We need something to join them to networks, to flip the currency into networking for payment networks. The bridges between the banks, the blockchains, the mobile money, the online wallets. It's not just going to be XRP. Don't believe that. It's not. 10 to 20, 30 years, it will have competitors. Someone will figure it out. There's a 12-year-old lad here today, isn't there, with his dad. Nice to meet you. You're going to have a chat very soon. He could be the next Beats Vindy. He's at a DLT conference talking to all of us when he's 12 years old. Really? Really? What's he going to be capable of when he's 20? Do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable where it's going to go. It comes down into networking. So the internet working all these things, and again, it all just comes back to everything coming together in a brand new internet. The internet. Again, 90% of the world don't even really understand it's happening. They still just see the internet data as the only internet. It's not. It was the first step in the internet of everything. And again, everyone can have all, they just want it to control us and all that. Conspiracies of the podcasts. So the internet architecture, they took it back to basics. They basically copied the architecture of the internet because they know it works. That's why when you hear David Schwartz say, well, what we wanted to do was make money move as fast as information does today. What was the best way to make that happen? Copy what it does. You don't need to understand this. You don't need to understand it all. You don't need to know how to break it down. You just need to know that there's a few things on there that you recognise, isn't there? From HTTP, to IP, your IP address. You've got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Ethernet. You all understand a few of them terms and you understand where they are in the internet. Every device has an IP to lock into the internet work. So when it's being sent some information, it has an address. Doesn't matter what application it's coming from at the top, the application layer will use the transport layer below to drop the data into that IP address via any network it chooses. They just did it again. It's exactly the same thing, but this time it's packets of value, not packets of information. So again at the top, the application, the only way you really need to know is HTTP with a -ILP. So you know that is basically taking current HTTP protocols and merging them with an ILP API. That's all you really need to know. Don't need to understand how he's wrote the code that's going to merge it. Just knowing that that's merging and the fact that you know that information, you can use that to your advantages. The ledgers below is going to be blockchains, banks, mobile money, people's apps, people's dApps. It's just going to grow, like I say, from anything from personal ledgers. The reduction strategy. I struggle with this one, because this is a Ripple document that was passed by around the W3C and it was passed around all the banks. An adoption strategy, ILP is the first tab. And yeah, it's not in mainstream. So how good's the strategy? How good's that strategy? If you're going to start with ILP, you'd think it'd be everywhere. That's when we understand these documents were behind the scenes documents going through people at the top. And if it wasn't for the internet data, we wouldn't even see them. If you imagine we go back to the 60s, 70s and 80s when all this information was being passed around between companies, new startups, governments, banks, no one ever saw it. No one ever had access to it. Now we've got the internet, we've got leaks and everything. That can be a little bit worrying when you consider an internet of value, what's going to leak out of that. But I think everyone is safe enough in an immutable system run by a consensus. It's not a mining protocol, it's not governed by the country. Your CBDC ledgers will be. So make no mistake, when people talk about freezing funds, if you've got a load of CBDCs on a Bank of England platform, pretty sure that's going to be frozen. Your XRP wallet can't be frozen. But if you've been KYC'd and they trace you back, they can lock you out of other walled gardens, so you can't send your XRP into it. So people are going to actually they're going to have to move forward very carefully with the way they handle themselves with digital assets, especially, because this is the be-all and end-all, because when everything else gets tokenized, on the screen it's just going to look like another digital asset. Yeah, you might own some gold that's in a Bank of England vault somewhere, you might get it sent to your house so you physically hold it, but at the end of the day, it could just be on someone's platform. The same to Boo Boo the other day. If you can't figure out how to make it all yourself and build your own ledgers and your own platforms, you are simply trusting someone else. You just are. To mine your digital assets, it's who you're going to trust and who's going to make it happen. So at the moment, we have Hyperledger Foundation and making it happen more than anyone. Everyone's pretty much a break off of them. This is, you hear NTT data, or you hear the DTCC, you hear about the Bank of England, the Bank of China, everyone else who's doing their own little thing. They're all together in the Hyperledger. The Hyperledger Foundation is the biggest digital ledger technology foundation on the planet. There is no consortium of companies, institutions and banks bigger than that, regardless of what they're doing alone. Hyperledger Quill, made by Ripple, and I believe NTT Data, or it might have been DTCC, can't really remember, but it was a Ripple tech, given to Hyperledger for the interoperability aspect. That is your tool which will tap into ILP and make any Hyperledger project interoperable with any other network. The mobile money, Mojaloop, and all your Chinese and your Far Eastern ones, again, just another layer, just another network, another walled garden, any way you want to look at it, it's something else that needs reconnecting to other things, and it's going through ILP in the end. Like we say, if people just realise that the W3C is in charge of it, it is a done deal. Internet of everything, it's coming. Banks, it's interesting to put e.g. Ripple, so we was thinking Ripple banks, the banks actually called Ripple banks, but that just means runs on Ripple. You see them coming, all the banks are coming out, they're going to run on Ripple, they remember the Ripple net, they will be some of the instigators. Central banks, obviously, e.g. Bank of England, a paying Ripple customer. So bring that up next time Tom Bayes wants to talk about Ripple giving money, Ripple buying some shares in MoneyGram. They bought shares in MoneyGram and all them are stood there like, oh, they're paying them off. No, if you want to talk about who's paying who to actually use technology, the Bank of England and other central banks are actually paying Ripple to get on Ripple net and to be taught how the new internet of value is going to work. And being twined to everything else, to people's online wallets, it's legitimately comes all down to that device, to being able to do how much data can we share with people recording videos and doing this and that. And it was unthinkable in the 90s that you could share data so seamlessly. And for most people now, it's still unthinkable that we can share value so seamlessly. Chris was there the other night pinging value from each other. It was madness, and most of the world don't even understand you can do that. All from the ledgers, from multiple ledgers, we had from 2 different ledgers to another 1 ledger, then we had a transaction from Binance into the ledger, and we had one from Wirex into the ledger, all done. That's like the debate that needs having with like Tony Bay, like when I say I'd like to get in front of him, all I want to do is transactions. I just want to say to him like, alright Tony, you've got 2 Bitcoin wallets, send yourself a tenner worth of Bitcoin, and when you click send, I'm just going to go on, I'm going to get Wirex out, and nice and easy, going to send myself 20p, 30p, 40p, 50p, pound, 5p, and just spam loads of little micro transactions, and then when I'm up to a tenner of about 50 transactions, I put my phone down nice and calmly and just go, how's the transaction going, pal? Because I'll know I'll have beat him, and I'll just be like, right, so you're still going to say that network's better than that? That's the debate, though. Why won't go on camera with people who know about the internet of value? Because he understands that the network he's raving about needs this. Said before, how are you going to send Ethereum if you own your Bitcoin? In the back end of this year, you'll have BeatSpin's app to do it, so you'll throw it into BeatSpin's app and his ILP API will flip it for you, or his XRP payments. So let's just that one where people just put the amount in, and at the moment it accepts any amount. That'll just flip currencies for you in the end. So if you want to start off sending pounds, but I want to receive XRP, is ILP API. So is ILP API helping micropayments go through? You know, unhashed code here. Again, level playing field. It's not that there's only going to be one platform doing it. There's going to be a multitude that you'll get to choose from, all running through ILP. And again, ILP is going to choose XRP to run through any and most marketplaces because it's the fastest asset. Until there's a viable competitor, it's going to choose XRP every time. There's no ifs or buts about it. It's, again, I keep saying it, but it's a done deal. It's done and dusted. All thanks to these guys. Hyperledger Foundation. This is one of the documents that put us on the path. It's an Everest document. Everest is an NTT data company. You've got NTT data at the top. You see IBM, you see R3, you see Digital Assets, you see Intel, DTC, Cisco, Accenture, UAE, Swift, SAP. Do we need to go on? BNY Mellon, JP Morgan. It's absolutely unbelievable. Wells Fargo. Everyone you can imagine who needs to be and needs to have some input of where this technology is going is a member of this consortium. The Linux Foundation leads the biggest consortium of technology companies and financial institutions collaborating to establish DLT and blockchain technology standards. NTT Data is a member of Hyperledger. Like I say, it's their document, so they're about to blow it up a little bit. But at the end of the day, you can't show me a bigger consortium than this. And the fact that they're all working alongside Ripple, they're not working with Bitcoin miners, are they? Are they? How many Bitcoin miners' names have you seen on Bank of England documents and stuff? Again, timeline. So 1974, Vince Cerf and Bob Kahn create the Internet Protocol. What the? 10 years before I was born. And then they still didn't even really have that much email, did we, in the 80s? Running up to 95, are you shitting man? 21 years? 21 years for mainstream internet after IP. So what we're waiting for mainstream ILP? Maturity over adoption. Yeah, there is adoption happening and regulation happening, but it's only going to run up to 2025, and then we've got a long, long path of the tech being fully matured. HDTV ain't matured. Think about that. HDTV is not matured. 101 on Virgin is still standard definition. Why has everyone not got an HDTV? Is anyone in here with a standard definition teller? Not in your kitchen, your main teller. No. Someone is somewhere, because 101's not HD yet. Apple founded NTT Data in 1988. So they was basically a company, this is what I'm saying now, so this was a company who leaned over and saw the Internet Protocol, would have had a little bit of inkling where that was all going to go. And they was like, yo, data's going to be huge. And his mates would have been like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't fucking know, mate. It's going to be huge. There's this big internet thing, and it's called Internet Protocol, and it's not going to need the post office. Like, what? Not going to need the post office. And then there's this thing coming after it called search. And then it's going to be websites, and after that we'll be in an Internet 2.0. And look at us now, 2004, Facebook's founded. Look at how fast it all of a sudden went. I mean, even Amazon, 1994. Madness. He's the richest man in the world now. Started as a bookshop. Online bookshop. That is crazy. For an online bookshop from 1994 to now produce the world's richest man, and he's sat 120 odd billion after a divorce. After a divorce, 120 odd billion. Some of what he's having. Seriously. So there's your timeline from the 50s, first mainframe computers. But we know stuff speeds up and everyone underestimates technology. So although they've got a timeline, they could have underestimated it. They could have underestimated it. They really, really could have. We're not saying this is set in stone. We're not saying this is exactly how it's going to play out. But if you draw your attention to 2017, 2020, Ripple becomes the standard for international money transfers between banks. ILP becomes the standard protocol for connecting banks' cash ledgers as part of Ripple software. Between 2020 and 2025, the blockchain solutions for capital markets, trade finance emerge, R3 Corda, DAH, Fabric, etc. ILP Java becomes an interoperability standard for Hyperledger Foundation projects. That is because of what Stephen Thomas and everyone else said. Even Chris Larson said it. Codius platform can move anything of value over a Java contract. And Java being an extremely easy language to learn compared to most. It even has platforms like I say that let you put code together, like Wish lets you put a website together. It's not hard to learn if you're passionate about it. 12-year-old, once you figure it out, consumer, help me. But yeah, it's extremely interesting where it's going to go. So between 2025 and 2030, I would say blockchains and distributed ledger solutions mature and all asset exchange networks become interoperable with ILP. That's when smart houses blow up, self-driving cars blow up, you make a payment through your car, like we were saying, it'll take you to the paid hairdressers and take you there while it's booking a cinema ticket. And then as you leave your ticket, your self-driving car's driving your own, you tell it to tell Alexa to turn the oven on because you want a pizza when you get in. It's absolutely unbelievable, and people are already doing that with Hive. Turn my lights off, shut my blinds, put the heating on, I'm on my way home. And all, it's not that big of a jump, is it? An API update, so it pays for itself now. When you turn that heater on, it's just paying. Internet of everything, all connected through ILP, got it there, to an internet of value. It's where we're going. They have to talk internet of value when they're talking about payments. because it starts with real-time gross settlement. That's where they've been for the last few years. You need to imagine a lot of older men who don't really get the tech, who was just pushing it off. They've used this system for 40 odd years and it works for them and they make a lot of money off it. We don't really want to go with this other one. Bitcoin's on the dark web, blah, blah, blah. Which is why documents like this would have emerged, and which is why you had the Ripple and the XRP ledger, should I say, just doing transactions for years. I think it's up to about 7 years now. I've said it's quite interesting, and when it gets to 10 years, you're at the 2023 migration. So by the time everyone's expected to migrate, LP through their APIs, the world's your oyster then. Everything else then taps into that system once they're on that. It starts with central bank RTGS systems being interoperable with each other. Comes back to it's simple currency transfer in it. So I want Ethereum, I want XRP, but you want to send Bitcoin to an interoperable system. There's a guy in China who wants to sell me a t-shirt, he wants Chinese money, I want to send Great British pounds. You can see that in the next 5 years, pull people like family members who've been laughing at you all the time, or not buying it, like, yeah, you do really well. I'm still not buying it. How many of you have done that? That's what I mean. So it's getting rid of the correspondent banking system. It was never going to be easy. I don't know what happened behind the door, but look at the banks. All of a sudden, boom, they're all running on Ripple. Look at the dates. Real-time cross-border settlement, 1980 to 2017. From 2017, they've been going on X-current. It's bi-directional messaging. It's sped up the current system. I might have a little fun about X-current system. It fits. It does fit. But X-current can't facilitate the future. It can't facilitate the millions of houses all paying for stuff each second. Can't facilitate self-driving cars, all talking to each other and making payments at the same time. It just can't facilitate it. It needed something else, which is X-Rapid and the XRP ledger right in the middle of it, facilitating interoperable settlement. Not just payments, but settlement. Hyperledger Foundation, all over it. Ripple, all over it. Us, all over it. All these platforms on the side are going to be all over it. We can see them on the side of Hyperledger Fabric. We've got Corda, Ethereum blockchain, Bloomberg, DTCC, SAP, IBM, Oracle, Intel, Apple, Android, Tesla, Apple Pay, Android Pay, PayPal, eBay, Alibaba, Airbnb, Google, Microsoft, Netflix. It's not like they don't know what's happening. They're there on the documents, the information's been shared with them. They're just wondering what's going to happen. You can imagine Netflix now thinking, shit, what's going to happen with this coil shit? YouTube, what's going to happen with this coil shit? I don't know, we'll just put 2 adverts at the start of every video. We'll start there, yeah? Because no one's done that. So when you're watching YouTube, you've got 2 videos at the start, alright? We didn't do that. We didn't just go in and think, fuck it, we're going to start putting 2 videos on the front and everyone's going to do it. Everyone's just going to follow suit. YouTube did it. Why? They'd be scared that they're going to lose some out money because they know very, very soon it's likely you're going to be able to turn them off through coils. Like saying they don't want that this week. Don't want that this week, mate. Shut them off. And boom, they're gone then. That's Google not making money then. Google's good back thinking, shit. If they don't run out, they don't get out money. Facebook, Zuckerberg is like, fuck, no one's running ads. We're not going to get paid. It's out
they get paid. So yeah, they will be worried, but they won't be seriously worried until a competitor comes along. They're going to be ready. No doubt they're going to be ready to switch over and make the jump. Facebook will be talking about a Libra coin if it wasn't, and not try to take this market, but they're too late. They're on there, on the right. Ain't saying Libra in the middle of that, is it? You know, it's not happening that way. Yet they introduce a little bit of fun. So our mates and everyone can say, oh, you're not scared of Libra coin. Oh, well, it's like they've not been listening. Like they've not been listening. If banks knows them, they've not been listening. But enabling interoperability across platforms between 2020 and 2025. Again, don't be surprised if in the next couple of years you see your Amazon Alexa upgrades, you can now make payments for you and has a couple more tricks up the sleeve. Your Google Assistant, only a matter of time, it's like, okay Google, and you're booking some of the cars. Chris was in the car, he was made up a day in the new Mercedes, he got it as a hire car, his arms and rage, we talk. And he's like, what do you mean? Chris is just like, Mercedes. And he's like, yes. Like, take it to the nearest McDonald's, and it just come up on the sat nav, like the route to the nearest McDonald's, and just start driving out, like, what the? I mean, it's crazy. But just look, and let it sink in. All them companies, I mean, they're all massive companies, and they're only the tip of the iceberg for really what's actually coming, and who's going to beat them to the punch. Because like I said, I really do feel we're going to let these competitors grow a little bit before they're forced to change, which could lead to them being killed off. I'm looking at going cinnamon next week, so from next week I'll still be loading to YouTube, but I'll also be putting it on cinnamon. And now I implore everyone to try and get to cinnamon and watch it instead of YouTube. Pays us every month, but not fairly. Not a level playing field, is it? They're taking like 45-50% off everyone who makes money on that. The rinsing people of money they earn simply because we throw a few ads on the platforms. But yeah, watch people on Coil the minute they're on it. Read their articles on Coil instead of Facebook. Get off the centralised platforms as soon as we can. It's hard for me to stop using Facebook because I'm like so entwined with how it works and that. We've noticed for the last couple of weeks we've been trying to be on Twitter more, trying to transition, trying to leave Facebook alone. The Instagram posts, not really post on Instagram that much because I just don't want to feed the platforms that are rinsing everyone of the content revenue basically that they should be taking. They should. It's not right. And everyone, level playing field is not just in trade finance between America and China. It's not just between Britain and the EU. It's between everyone. It's for me and you. It's for everyone. Even the SIG packs are the same colour now. All on the same colour, all the same size. They all look the same, all on a level playing field basically, all a different price every week. It is unbelievable when you start trying to think of what's coming and what industries are going to be affected by blockchain and the internet of everything, because it is everything. It just is. And you can see by this, we've got trade finance, we've got pre and post trade, complex risk coverage, identities and know your customer, KYC. We've got unlisted securities, private equity funds, loyalty programs, medical, fraud compliance, distributed energy and carbon credits, supply chains, food safety, provenance and traceability, and we could even add a little bit more to that. I'm extremely interested in it. I'm extremely interested in random ideas I've not even thought of. Do you know what I mean? So we'll network throughout the day. Any business idea you've got, don't be scared of just throwing it out there. You might not quite see the way to figure it out, and you say one thing to one of the guys who's here today, and he's like, you know, I just do this, that, in my head. You're there, but I don't know why, you know, I think that. Do you know what I mean? It's like 2 heads are always better than one. You get 5 together, who knows what you can accomplish. So, on that note, that's basically my opening presentation keynote. It's basically the be-all and end-all of what I want this day to be about. There's other presentations on, but I want everyone just basically not that we're not going to have a little bit of moon talk, yeah, what price are you selling at and that, yeah, we can have a little bit of that. But mainly, where do you think it's going to go? What do you think about consensus in voting? Making the House of Commons idea, and then they're passing a law to try and stop Brexit. They're trying to pass a law now to try and stop Brexit again, and why is that not just pinging through my phone now? Can we put this law in, please? Why is that not the way it is? There are representatives, they work for us. They should be like, can I do this, please? Are you okay with that? Not going to cut my head off. I forgot what it must have been like 1341, mate, because that's what we're back with, you know, I get that guillotine, mate. Send the crows down there, they're bad enough. And they get a letter on the leg of the crow, like sort your neck out or coming down with your bannerman, mate. Bannerman are coming down, falling the Lords in. That's what happened, look it up, 1341. The Lords went down, mate, called the bannerman in. He went down, they're like, yo, keep sending them soldiers up there for gold, son. We're gonna have problems. We need a voice down here. And then they had the House of Commons and they put the speaker in place to get the speaker for the people. Everyone got his number. They've got something to say. Seriously. How much is it going to change the world? It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely unbelievable. So again, thanks for coming. I'm interested in your ideas. We will talk and converse throughout the day. But yeah, basically just thanks for coming and enjoy the day. Let loose and let's have a great one. Cheers. Mingle from here to the pioneer room, and come back and forward, like you can get room, grab room, and look at the wide. We will be back here shortly, wireless resource, have a little chat about what you've got going down. Yeah, I need a coffee after that. How are we doing, pal? Okay? Want to drive up? Nice. How are we doing? This is my mum!
Hi guys.
My mum!
Right, hi guys. I'm going to stop streaming now and I'm going to go and do some interviews. And Dave's here again. So I'm going to stop streaming now and go and do some other stuff. And I will come back and the next speaker, we're going to do the same thing. But keep giving the feedback about the volume and everything like that, because it's really good. Thank you. See you later. Bye.
Hey!
Hiya, how you doing?
I'm so good the way you were this morning.
Well, I'm speaking to the SPQR guys for a little while.
Oh, I didn't even realise that. Right, thank you.
Yes.
I remember.
Of course I have a charger.
I thought maybe I had a bit too much wine last night, so I thought.
No, did you not see my thing? I got to my room last night and the girl in the room next door had collapsed. And her boyfriend put his head out and basically said,